I felt really awkward. Like I was trying to turn my hand, but it touched my finger, and yeah. You want to redo it?
I don't know if I can. Uh,
Yo, cheers me, bro. Cheers.
Pause, man.
There we go.
Fucking pause.
That one wasn't too bad.
No,
Yeah.
no.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the podcast where we pull back the curtain, give you some insight on what goes on behind the sheets. I was going to say behind the sheets of your favorite bar.
Bro, you are on one
That's a
today.
different perspective.
You are on one today, bro.
Welcome back, everyone, to another
Uh,
episode of the
yeah.
podcast where we pull back the curtain, give you some insight on what goes on behind the scenes of your favorite bar and restaurant. We like to call that the industry perspective, not the sheets.
Sup, motherfuckers.
Not the sheets.
Peel back the curtain behind the sheets. Yeah. All right, cool. Well,
Yeah.
that lets you know how he gets down.
Look, man, a little under the weather, okay?
Well, that takes care of my first question. I was going to ask you how you're doing.
A little bit under the weather, but, you know.
Hey, man.
we
Thank
gotta
you
be
for
here.
riding it out, being ready to record at the very least.
Yeah, happy to be here
Cool.
because I live here.
Well, yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah.
I want to one day, and you know where I want to do this, but we haven't gotten to the point where we could talk about it yet. But I want to do a poll to see how many people in the service industry have a roommate that is in the service industry as well. And then like a breakdown on like how they met. Like, were you coworkers, or was it like a friend of a friend, or just posting online?
Yeah.
Because every place is different, every city is different, everybody's different. I'm just kind of interested in that because.
Did we touch on how we met? I think it was like in the first episode. Right?
We haven't, but I actually wanted to save that
Okay.
for a couple weeks from now.
Okay.
But we'll talk about that off camera because I have a whole thing that I
Okay.
wanted to do for that specifically.
For sure.
Good thing you brought that
Yeah.
up.
How are you?
I'm good, bro.
Yeah.
I'm good. The year started off good. I haven't had anybody piss me off yet at work, so that's always a good sign.
Yeah.
I don't do the whole New Year's resolution thing. I don't know if you do or not, but like that's never been a thing for me.
I do a couple of things.
Yeah.
One of them was to just be better about keeping in touch with my family. As a lot of my family knows that I'm very bad at calling, checking in, this and that. And
you're a millennial is what you're saying.
Yeah. But also it's just like, for the way I see it is like the older relatives, it's like, well, I'm the younger one. You should check in on me. Like bring it back a little bit. Like as a kid, grandparents, uncles, or whatever, be like, oh, how come you don't call? I'm like, bro, I'm 12. You should be calling me, checking in on how I'm doing. You're the adult. And now that I've gotten older and I have nieces and nephews that are getting older, I'm like, shit, I gotta check in on them. But now I gotta flip it in reverse. I can't tell them like, hey, hit me up. No. I want to be, not saying better, no shade, but like I gotta flip that, reverse it, change it, and
you gotta drop down, flip it, and reverse it.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to say the other part, but you get it.
Yeah. No, it's the same thing you said, but reverse. Yeah. Did you know that bar is her saying that in reverse?
I've probably heard it somewhere, but
Crazy.
yeah.
Shout out Missy Elliott.
Shout out
to
Missy.
Yeah, that's one of my resolutions is just be better at keeping in touch, especially with grandparents. They're getting older and stuff, and just be better in touch with my family because I've never been the one to do that.
That's a good resolution. I mean, if you're gonna have one, typically everybody's like wanting to lose weight or wanting to drink less, and then they don't stick with it. But like that's actually a more realistic. Well, I don't want to say more realistic, but I feel like that's just as healthy of a decision or a resolution to make as it would be for those other things, and less selfish because yes, it is. You're saying that you should do better. Like I should do better keeping in touch with my family. But that's not just for you. That's for your family as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want them to think that I just only come around certain times and this and that. And not to put like a downer on this, but like this last year, I've lost and I've known people that have passed. So it's like, we weren't like best friends or whatever, this and that, but family, friends of friends or whatever. It's just people I have shared experiences with, the last time I spoke to them was like, I don't remember, and I don't want that to happen. So it's kind of like, where they say, oh, always hug your loved ones, this and that. So I'm trying to hold true to that. And so far, so good. I mean, it's only January, but
Yeah.
we'll see. I want it to be more than just birthdays and holidays where they're here
Right.
for me.
Right.
That's
good.
That's kind of my resolution, I guess.
That's good. I mean, I like I said before, I don't really do the whole resolution thing, but what I do try to tell myself is I try to add like I guess in like for industry terms, I try to add like a big ticket item to
Yeah.
like my self improvement for the year. Like I'm always trying to do better. I don't want to wait for January or whatever. But usually around this time of year, I'm like, well, what's a big thing that I probably haven't been paying attention to? What's a big change that I could make for the better to add onto my plate? And for me this year was just like just letting shit go. Especially at work, you know what I mean? Wanting to give a good experience to a guest when they come in, and do a good job, but also not run myself in the ground trying to do too good of a job. And also, one of the things we've talked about off camera is like not trying to see myself in coworkers or in guests. Like, don't take it personal because someone doesn't do things the way I would do them. They're not me. Don't take it personal when a guest has a dumb question or does a dumb action. Like, yeah, it could be frustrating for me, but let me try to, like, as we say, shoot them some bill. Let me look at them and be like, they don't look like the type of person that comes out too much or whatever. I kind of put up a little bit more of a wall before I'm just like, yo, you're a fucking idiot. I'll still get to you're an idiot, but
Yeah.
I get there a little slower now. And it's made all of my shifts go by a lot better because I'm not letting anything get to me,
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still having a hard time with that. Immediately, the first question is like, well, what's good here? Everything.
Oh my gosh, man.
Everything is good here. Pick something. Be a fucking adult and pick something.
I thank you for saying it that way because I always feel
we've talked about this before, but it happened again not too long ago, and somebody asked me like, well, what's good here? I'm like, everything.
I don't know what it was, but this past week, all I kept getting, like, as far as a first question was either what is good here or what do you do good? Or my favorite one last week is, what is this place known for? And I just looked at him. I was like, well, we don't have food, so we're known for cocktails. He just looked at me. He's like, so what am I supposed to do with that? I was like, well, what was I supposed to do with that question? I don't know what you wanted.
Nobody. We're at an impasse, both of us.
Yeah. So now we're both here just staring at each other right where we started. How about you tell me what you want? And he's like, well, I don't know what I wanted. And we're just trying to check out the different places and see what they're good known for and this and that. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm saying, well, any place that's known that to have a gimmick, usually they're not that good. We don't rely on gimmicks. We just make our cocktails the correct way.
The gimmick is in your face, so you don't have to ask that question. Too,
right.
So.
Right. They're peacocking.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm glad I don't work in a place that's like that.
Yeah.
I'm lucky because I've worked in places like that.
Yeah, definitely glad I don't work at a place that peacocks.
Yeah.
People know.
Nobody
People know what I'm talking about.
Nobody likes it when you have to peacock all the time.
Yeah. People know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Nobody wants to be the peacock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody. Not a single soul wants to be the peacock.
But just with like people, I guess being a nuisance of like, I don't want to say nuisance, but just being annoying, I guess, of
forgetting where they're at
and asking those questions like, well, what's good here? Is also the people that kind of just occupy space, or maybe have that one drink that's been sitting in their hand for an hour and a half, 2 hours, way past its expiration date. Like it's super diluted, so like the flavor profile is completely changed, and kind of just standing. They're just there because they want to feel important, I guess. And I guess I'm speaking more towards friends of DJs, and we kind of touched on this with Alex. Shout out to Alex. Last week, where they're kind of, I should have asked them this and I forgot to.
I mean, like with as long of an episode as it was,
it's like I'm curious as to how the DJ feels when it's like you just have a bunch of people standing around you.
Yeah,
I'm sure for a little bit it's cool, like, oh yo, what's up? Video, whatever, this and that. But when they're just there, standing there, and trying to
Yeah.
be the DJ without being the DJ,
Right.
and
Or as you just said, they want to look important. You know?
yeah,
And
it's like, I know the DJ.
I remember that Alex said that, you know, he does some DJing, but he's primarily a karaoke DJ. And we've talked about getting an actual like full on DJ. Not to say that Alex isn't.
Mhm.
I'm
Somebody
just
that
going
doesn't do karaoke, somebody
right.
that
And
plays
this
that.
is based off of our conversation with Alex. This
Mhm.
isn't me assuming anything from him. Um, but and yeah, I know who I want to ask, and yeah, I'm gonna ask him real soon because I want to try to catch him while he's in town
Yeah,
because that's a very good question.
yeah,
Um, that we need an answer to because I'm
yeah.
so sick and tired of looking over at the DJ and they got like 5 people
They got a
around him that
crowd of
I've never
people,
seen before.
and I'm kind of just there. Like me personally, I'd be like, get the fuck away from me. Take your picture,
Yeah.
take your video, and get out of my work. You're in my cubicle.
Yeah,
The way I'm looking at it is, if I was that DJ, like, you're in my cubicle.
yeah,
You're like watching me, micromanaging me, like as I work. Like, let me work. Go out there and enjoy. I invited you here to enjoy the party, not be behind my back. Come in, say what's up, this and that. Cool, but just having a crowd of people, and maybe some people like that. Maybe that's how they
And
get
some do.
hyped to
Right.
yeah,
Some
maybe
do.
they do.
Some
but
do.
I'm just looking at that person. I'm like, damn, man. Like behind the bar, if there was a bunch of people here, I'd be fucking irritated. Like,
Right.
get the fuck out of my way. Let me work.
And not just a bunch of people, a bunch of strangers, a bunch of people who don't know what they're doing back there, let alone what you're doing back there.
Mhm.
And then, and like you said, you don't have enough space to do your job, which next thing you know, the music gets all thrown off and,
Or
the
somebody
whole-
spills a drink on your
yeah.
equipment and shit. I'd be pissed.
yeah,
I would be like, if I'm making a cocktail, I have to turn around and grab something, and there's so many people behind the bar, I'm gonna be like, dude, stay behind, tap me on the shoulder, something like that. You know,
Mm.
it just, I feel if I was in their shoes, I'd be thrown off by that.
yeah,
You know, like
So
I said,
would I.
come up, say what's up, take your picture, video, whatever, put me on your gram, and then go enjoy the party. I invited you here to bring bodies to the venue, not to just stand
yeah.
around with one drink in your hand because, you know, I only get X amount of drinks and
Right.
I got you one. Now you're just here, not
Right.
not making me look good by not contributing to this business.
And-
like,
and-
it's a lot of factors,
yeah.
a lot of things. Like,
And
you're
and
just
also
occupying
you could be
space.
there to try to keep me company, but you don't have to be in my hip pocket the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for the people that bring in like their homie or someone comes in and it's like, oh yeah, you can like hang out close to me, but I don't need 20 people. Like, yeah, keep me company. So because I know it can be a little lonely for a DJ to just be up there spinning music the entire time and you're like trying to read the room and do all
Yeah.
these different things, especially if you're not drinking. I know a lot of DJs who don't drink or they don't drink while they're DJing or whatever, which sounds like torture to me.
Yeah.
But
Some of them
just
just like
having
to be
all of those
locked in.
things going on, and then you have a friend that's just taking up space and not in a productive way. It's just like, Jesus, man. That's I can only think of the anxiety I would have to like still try to do a good
Mhm.
job, because if you fuck up enough, you don't get invited back. If you don't read the room, you don't get invited back, which that's your money.
Another thing to tackle on top of that is make sure the people you invite to are house trained.
Yeah.
And by that I mean
Yes.
they're not acting a fool. They're
Yeah.
not acting a fool with the bartenders and the bar staff or whatever like that. Like, they just
I
because
like that house training though.
because it's a lot of people forget, and we talked about this with Alex too. Like,
Yeah.
people step out and they just disregard, they're standing on top of furniture, this and that. But when they're like, oh, I know the DJ, I can wild out.
Mhm.
You know, hey, put that on the DJ's tab. And I'm like, he doesn't have a tab.
Right. Right.
You know,
Yeah.
if he doesn't come up here personally or whatever, you're not on this mental note that we made, like, oh, that's so and so's girlfriend, that's
Mhm.
whatever they invite. No, like, you can't just say put on the DJ's tab. I need
Right.
a card. Give me a
Right.
fucking card.
Right. But
Don't
as he said, make sure
You're
your
not a
friends
celebrity.
are house trained.
You're not a celebrity.
As in, if you wouldn't do this shit in your house, don't do it here. And if some of the shit you're doing is some shit that you do in your dirty ass house, leave it in your dirty ass house. All right.
Yeah.
If you step on your couches because your grandmama ain't never beat your ass until you get off her fucking couch, that's your problem. Don't bring that to where we are and have our couches looking like shit,
Mhm.
because then if we got to charge someone, because we've worked in places where that couch, it's not that the couch costs $1,500. It's the ability to sit on that couch and listen to music and have drinks poured for you and, you know, stunt and do all that other shit, that costs $1,500.
Yeah.
If that couch is fucked up, guess who don't want to pay $1,500 to be there? The person paying $1,500. They want to step on a nice looking couch, not a shitty looking couch. But there is an etiquette to stepping on a couch. If you got some dusty ass shoes, keep your dusty ass shoes off that nice ass couch. If you don't stand on the couch, females, you love taking your shoes off everywhere else. Take your fucking shoes off before you step on the couch. Stop poking holes in the motherfuckers, man.
With those heels.
Yeah, and if you didn't get your toes done, why you in the club anyway? Sorry, just saying. Just prepare. Just prepare. Don't fuck up our couches. It's not. You're not Rick James. It's not fuck our couch. Like, you're just not.
I knew what.
Like, house train your friends, man. House train your friends. House train your group.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're gonna come out and say, and I'm not even talking about like people who ball out or whatever. I'm just saying like someone who's nice enough to invite a group of people out to whatever. And they're like, yo, I'm gonna put my card down, so y'all ain't gotta worry about it. You know what I mean? Like, don't worry about what you have to order and this and that. I'm gonna take care of it, whatever. And that happens. Well, make sure your group is trained to know like who you are, how to act because they're a reflection of you. But also, like, if you were invited and you invite someone else, I'm gonna just be real with you. That someone else isn't on the tab. Like, please have some etiquette, because the amount of times I've seen people come up and they're just like, oh, yeah, they ordered a drink and I put it in front of them, and then they go, oh, like, oh, I gotta pay. And I'm like, yeah. Oh, well, put it on such and such's tab. And I'm like, or like, put it on my friend's tab. And I'm like, oh, your friend? Like, well, what's her name? Like,
with the blue hat.
Put it on the homie Jose's tab. I'm like, Jose? Like, yeah. He's over there. And then you point at a herd of Jose's. Like a herd of Jose's. There's like 10 Jose's in that group. Like, straight up. And you just pointed and said, Jose. Which one? And then you look at me and you say, I don't know their last name. That's not your friend.
Nope.
You should not feel comfortable putting your name on their tab.
Nope.
And like, yo, that's like me walking up and just being like, put it on John's tab. Put it on Sarah's tab. Put it on Jose's tab. It's the same thing. And then you just point at a group of people who could all be that person. That's fucked up.
And the funny thing is that we name our tabs by last name anyways. So when we ask for the name, we usually say, what's the last name on the card? We say, like, what's the name? They say, like, Emily. Last name, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, we name our tabs by last name.
Yeah.
So, again, if you don't know the last name, that's not your friend.
Because there could be 5 of that name.
Yeah.
That's why you can't just come up. And we've talked about this before. If I feel like we should start doing fucking shots when we say that. That should be the new segue. I just wanted to take a shot. Well, not a shot, but a drink. But you get what I'm saying. But someone comes up and they say, oh, I need to close out my tab. Okay, well, you know, what's your last name? And people will still give me the first name because they're so conditioned to tell you the first name. Why would I put just your first name? Because if your first name is John, or even if your first name is Muhammad, it doesn't matter what your first name is. If I have multiples of that name and I put it on the wrong one, and then you're going to close your tab.
Was that a super bad reference?
No.
Because those are the 2 most common names in the world. Oh, that was an accident?
That was an accident.
Why didn't you pick a name like John? Muhammad's the most common name in the world. Read a fucking book or something.
Hey, shout out to him. He's still, to this day, he's still my favorite celebrity that I've met, because he was the most not act like a celebrity person that I've run into. He's one of my favorite people. And he like told jokes. He just like was just throwing them out there. Just one-liners, just walk away. Like, he just seemed like the motherfucker you want to hang out with and have a drink. Especially because he said himself, he's like, I'm not spending a bunch of money here. Fuck that. I was like, yo, you my kind of people. You got money and you still don't spill it or don't spend it. You know what I mean? I could fuck with that.
My bad. Keep going. You You're saying like whether your name
I'm
is
just
John.
I'm just saying, like, don't give me a first name, because if I fuck up and add something to the wrong tab,
Yeah.
you're not gonna have that sympathy for me, especially if you're waiting for your Uber or your Lyft, or it's time for you to go, and I gotta call a manager to come fix a mistake because, oh, I added it to the wrong tab. Well, help me, like I say, help me help you. Give me the last name, especially when I'm asking for a last name. What I love that people do is when they tell you their name, I don't even care if you give me the first and last name, because some people do that. They'll be like, I'll be like, oh, can you give me the last name? And it'll be like, Sarah Brown. And I'm like, all right, I didn't ask for the first one, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that at all. You gave me what I needed. Shit, you gave me more. But then they tell you what the card looks like. Bet. Now I can, like, you're ready to get out of here.
Yeah.
You don't want me holding up your time. And I just get frustrated for me and for other people in this industry that the guests don't help you get them out of there when they're trying to get out of there fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
They don't help you make their experience easier, and then it's your fault when the experience doesn't go as planned. And that's just one of those things. I mean, that turned into more of a
no
somber note at the end.
Nah, that I know what you mean.
Yeah, man.
There was something I said and I meant to backtrack on it earlier, but
you
you
remember
kept
what that was?
It was I was saying how like when the DJ's friends come up acting like they're celebrities, and I wanted to, because I felt like that might be taken wrong. Now, even if let's say the DJ is a celebrity, you're still not the celebrity. So if like I don't know, DJ Snake, and he has his crew there, whatever, and he sends one of his crew members there to come get it, it's like, oh yeah, I was like, put it on his tab. I'm like, I don't know who that is, and my manager didn't tell me who was on this list, and you're also not on that list. So, it just goes on with there's a couple of people that we will pass off drinks to, because like I don't know where you're gonna go with that. You might know him, he may have invited you, and then you have your whole group of friends that you're actually with.
Yeah,
he just told you, hey, come through, I got you on the cover charge.
Right.
So yeah, even if you know the DJ and stuff, you just house training.
Excuse me for that, but I will say that whether you know the DJ or whoever I mean, it's relevant. I'm saying to piggyback off of what you're talking about. Just remember that we don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
like talk to your server, your bartender, whoever. Talk to them as if they don't know who you are and have never met you before. And after that day, they'll never remember you again. Because all of those things are true. So, meaning when you come up to us and you know what you want, we don't know what you want. We don't know who you are. We don't know what the stipulations are to you getting what it is you're asking for. So, approach us in that way. Like, hey, I'm with such and such. I don't know how this works, but they told me to just come up and ask for a drink. Lead with that. Don't end with it. Don't bury the lead. Come up and, oh, I'm going to order a drink, and just assume that you know who I am because I walked from the other side of the room. I wasn't even looking at that side of the room. Everyone could walk from that side of the room as far as I'm concerned. So give us a little bit of like leeway, help us. It's not that some people are trying to be a dick. I'm not going to act like some of us in this industry are not tired or just burnt out or whatever, and we're just having a bad day. But a lot of frustration and confusion that you may feel as someone coming up to the bar asking for a free drink could be alleviated by just saying what your intentions are in the beginning, because then we also know that you're not trying to get over on us. You're not trying to just manipulate the situation. You're like, hey, I was told I could do this. What are the stipulations before we go through this whole fucking thing? Because then you may say, let me find that out for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of most of the DJs, at least in my experience, they'll, before anybody shows up, be like, oh yeah, here's my card. And then if so-and-so, if this person comes up to you, just put it on my tab.
Oh, I got friends that do that. I got DJs that do that. I got everybody who does that. Those are the people that do it right. They're, hey, you're on my tab. I'm going to take care of you. So they walk up, make eye contact with me, whether they know me or not. Same thing. Hey, you see these people, you see this person, or if they say this name, they're good. And now we've
Yeah.
cut through all of that.
Eliminate all that
We've cut
bullshit.
through all of that. Not everyone's trying. We're not trying to stop you from drinking. That doesn't help us.
No, we want you to drink. We want you to have a good time, but we
want you to have a
also
good time.
need payment for the drinks.
Yes.
It's
We got to make sure that we still have a job
Mhm.
tomorrow. Like you can have your good time tonight, but we have to do it in the right way so that we can still clock in tomorrow.
yeah.
Because the last thing you want is to get fired from a job and have to scramble to find a new one.
As much as we talk about like taking shots behind the bar, taking shots with customers, this and that,
Yeah.
it still either has to be comped in some way. It needs to be accounted for. That's like the responsible way of doing things. And if you work in a place that's pretty cool with you taking shots,
Mhm.
you just comp it. It's comp like that.
And do it the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, don't take shots with like top shelf shit. Go with the well. I mean, if they buy top shit, top shelf stuff, and you're like, oh, can I buy you a shot?
Mhm.
Whatever. Like, okay, cool. And you pour yourself a well, and they're like, no. At 1942, whatever, put that on their fucking tab. Because that sells for the bar. And that's
Yeah.
just going to help you,
Yeah.
you know?
Especially if someone's willing to fucking buy it for you. Why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we don't make money if you don't spend money or
Mhm.
if money isn't accounted for. We're not trying to hold you back. No one's like, how would I look as a bartender telling everyone, nah, you can't drink, you can't have anything? Like, it's not my job
Yeah.
to stop you from drinking. My job is to provide you with a drink and a good time. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So help me do both. If we can get the drink part out of the way, now we can start having a conversation about whatever. Let's figure this the fuck out first so that my job is protected and you're protected to have that good time. And now we can just talk about whatever.
You know, one of the things I hate, since we're on the topic of DJ still,
Mm.
is I don't hate when the DJs play music loud. I don't mind it. Like, you know, play your music, make sure people are having a good time. It's when it is loud and people come up to order from you, and they're like, you're like, hey, like, oh, what can I get you? You know, you can't really hear me, but I'm like
Mhm.
giving you that gesture, and they're like, yeah, let me get a margarita. Huh?
Yeah.
Margarita. What?
Yeah.
Margarita? Like, and they don't speak up. I can't fucking hear you. Either point to it on the menu
Yeah.
or yell. I need you. I'm here screaming. I don't want to scream into the
Or
mic.
type
I'm
that
here.
shit in your phone.
That works too.
If
but
you don't want to talk up, type up. Just type it up. And then say what you got to say there. And then I can read that. Okay. Cool. And then I'll go make that shit and I'll move up.
I had one person that just refused to speak up.
Mm.
And 3 times I was like, what? And then the 4th time I was like, I can't hear you. It's loud here. And I'm
Yeah.
shouting. I'm not going to shout into the mic, but I'm shouting.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I look at the menu. I'm like, which one? And they pointed to it. And I'm like, okay, cool. If you know it's loud, fucking speak up. We're not going to get mad at you for having to speak up, because if we're yelling at you, that means I can't hear you. So, but if you're spitting in my face, all right, then you know, that's, yeah. If you spit when you talk, spit to the fucking menu. But I fucking hate that shit. It's like, I need you to speak up.
Soda.
Yeah. I need you to speak up because it's fucking loud in here. I'm not
Yeah.
yelling at you because I'm mad. I'm yelling because I need you to know that I know you can't hear me. So I'm shouting at you. And I have earplugs in so I don't go fucking deaf. So
Yeah.
I need you to, like, you know. And when I do that too, people are still like, let me get a vodka soda.
But on the flip side, if it's not that loud, please don't act like it's fucking loud in there. Don't scream your order in my fucking face. And we're this far away from each other. Yo, the amount of people who do that, or the people who do this shit. Why the fuck are you leaning in, my boy? I need you to back the fuck up.
Because they're going to go make the drink
Please.
themselves.
Bro, I had a like 6'6" motherfucker one time, right? I had a 6'6" motherfucker literally lean over. That. Wow. No bullshit. I'm not making that up. And I'm just like, bruh, I know you tall enough to point at, but you're also tall enough where you could have told me from over there.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have to come over here. Like,
Yeah.
just because you can see over here don't mean you need to be over here. You know what I mean? Like, back the fuck up. Or the ones that are like, come in. No.
No.
6 feet.
Yeah.
6 feet. I don't know you. And I don't care if you cute. The amount of people, cute women included, who have called me over the bar to tell me to order, and I have to smell their order. I want to give you a drink faster just so we can like drown that shit the fuck out. Like, yo, I need to make this drink minty as fuck because you need it.
That's like that double. That's like that double ended sword where it's like, I need you to speak up, but I don't need to know what you had for breakfast. Like, oh man,
I don't need to know the shit that you were talking about earlier.
You should like be already brushed and everything if you're going out anyways. Oh my God. Like some people, oh man,
yo,
and not just you, like the way you smell too, because man, some musty ass people. I'm just like, yeah, and I try to like not be rude, but I'm like this, and I'm like, okay,
bro,
hygiene.
I, for the life of me, in all of my years, cannot understand how at this point grown ass people leave the house smelling like ass, especially in a place where they are trying to get some ass. You can't get ass if you smell like ass. I am sorry. And anyone who's willing to hook up with you when you smell like that, that's not someone you should be trusting. Because they don't give a fuck about their life or yours at all.
Now, granted, I know some people don't want to use deodorant because of the chemicals, this and that. I know people that don't use deodorant.
Bro, I use all natural deodorant and have for years.
That still smell good. Yeah. Like, I've worked with people that even when they're sweating and stuff, they don't wear deodorant. They still smell good because hygiene. They take care of themselves. They clean themselves and use other shit to, you know, like we naturally will just end up stinking when we sweat. But I know people that just take care of themselves well enough that, okay, cool. Some people just like, nah, I showered yesterday.
Yeah. And we're talking big, small, short, tall, don't matter. Like, so wash your ass.
People can do it, then you can do it if you refuse to wear deodorant. Just clean yourselves. You know, there's oils, ass. Whatever the fuck you want to do. Baby wipes, I don't give a fuck.
Wash your ass.
And your pits.
Please. Yeah. Nobody, like, I'm sitting here trying to, like, fucking whiffed in a drink, and all I got is fucking armpits and armpits and corn chips.
Armpits and corn chips. Yo, you got a little Mexican accent going on. Armpits and corn chips. Yo, got that. All right, yep. Got that Spanish accent coming out. Oh, I knew it was in there.
I said I was half of something. I didn't say what it was. Oh man, that almost made me walk out.
Also, make sure you don't spray too much cologne too. Yeah, because I don't need to feel like I'm walking into a Macy's when you come up to order. Sample. Fuck, I didn't ask for that. Get out of my face. Get out of my face.
Okay. I'm gonna power through this right now. Okay. We're gonna move this just a little bit and get very serious. Very serious. Because I got to talk to my fellas on this. I don't know what fucking book you guys are reading from. But please burn that motherfucker. The amount of men that I watch come in to a bar, don't look like nothing, and think they're going to get a girl. Or, like we just said, smell like shit, and think they're going to get a girl. And another one, we were talking about this, me and a couple friends a few days ago. Another thing that I've noticed lately is why the fuck are men surrounding women like they're on a hunt whenever they go out when there's more than one guy? That shit is not attractive. And what I mean is, if you see, say you're with a couple of your boys, 3 of y'all, right? y'all go up to a bar or you're at a bar, club, whatever, and then you just see a woman sitting by herself or two women sitting by themselves. Why the fuck y'all surrounding them like the police? And trying to talk to them, offering them a drink. Hey, what's your name? Where you from? All of this other stuff. But you got them cornered. Cornered, man. I don't understand this shit. Like, fellas, straight up, stop it. It don't look good at all. No matter how much money you have, no matter how good you look, no matter who you know, if you make someone uncomfortable, they're not going to want to fuck with you. They're just not. And on top of that, if they do, I would question their mindset.
Yeah.
Because anyone who feels comfortable being surrounded by a group of motherfuckers they don't know and they just power on through it, they thinking about something else. You know what I'm saying? So this is just a break from the norm. Like, I just had to say this shit because I've been seeing this shit way too fucking much lately. Where, case in point, the other day, it was a group of motherfuckers who came in. It was like 4 or 5 of them. One of them was being way too rah-rah.
Yeah.
Way too rah-rah. Where we were all like, yo, we're going to have to ask this motherfucker to leave, but how are we going to? Because everybody in their group is twice our size. You know what I'm saying? But everyone in the group except for the rah-rah motherfucker, we all knew. So we were cool. We were just like, even the people in their crew was just like, man, this is why we don't bring them out. But you got to bring those motherfuckers out every once in a while because you need one of them on your squad. And you got to show them a good time. You got to make sure the house trained first, speaking of. But just to wrap this up, there was these 2 women who walked in. Beautiful fucking women. Came in, casual, just chilling, wanted to grab a drink. They ordered a couple of drinks from us, just hang out at the bar. They were talking. You could tell they weren't from here just from the way that they were talking as far as their conversation and the way they were carrying themselves. Next thing you know, these motherfuckers surrounded them like a SWAT team and was just talking to them, this and that. But the women never turned around and engaged with them. In fact, one of them spent the entire time elbows on the fucking table, so to speak. Yikes. Like, that means leave her alone, bro.
Yeah.
Read body language. Read the room. Read the person you're talking to. Like, stop trying to pressure people into going home with you is what I'm saying. Rant over. But, like, bro, anybody you got to convince to come, eventually you got to convince them to stay.
There's that's a bar right there. But there's a meme. It's like an old Vine, and it's in Spanish, and it says, "Si sabes cómo me pongo, ¿por qué me invitas?" Which means, if you know how I get, why are you inviting me? Like when you said that one dude, it's like, I think they knew. So it's not even that person's fault; it's their fault because they know how he gets,
Right.
and they still invited him.
And that's what I was saying.
So it's like,
Perfect.
It's your guys' fault. You know how he gets, and yet you still invited him.
You know you can't take that motherfucker nowhere.
Yeah.
You know?
So why did you invite
if
him?
you take them somewhere, then you got to make sure that they're good.
Hey, you got to make sure you keep them in check. Not just they're good. You got to keep them in check.
Yeah.
Like, put a leash on
Straight
them.
up.
Like, no, get back over here. No.
Bro, like the people, that group, they kept him in check, which is the scariest part.
Oh, shit.
I'm like, yo, if this is y'all keeping him in check, man, like, how do you take him anywhere? He got to stay on his block. Yeah, that's the only place he feels comfortable.
Yeah, nah.
Straight up. He was not comfortable anywhere else at all. But another thing that I'm not comfortable with, you know, and it happens far too often, is just walking out on tabs that ain't yours, but it is yours. Like, just to go with the theme that we've been talking about of like coming up to the bar and like saying like, oh, add this to Jose's tab, add it to the DJ's tab and stuff like that. If it's your tab, if you ordered the drink and you thought you weren't paying, but it turns out you have to pay, you still drank the drink.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm gonna say. You drank the drink.
Yeah.
So don't look at me where, well, why are you asking me for money? That's literally how this works.
Yeah. I hate that shit. It's like,
Short
what do you
sweet
mean
on that
it's 32, whatever? I'm like, well, yeah, you ordered
That's
two,
how much it costs.
this and that. It's $32.50. But I didn't know I had a tab. I'm like, well, yeah, you walked away before I could tell you. So,
Right.
would you thought this was a charity?
Yeah.
Thought this was open bar? Yeah. So I just made a tab for you. That's happened to me where somebody grabbed a drink and walked away,
Mm.
but I knew they were going to come back. So when they came back and they ordered a drink, I'm like, okay, charge them for the same one twice. I'm like, it's this and this. And like, what? I'm like, yeah, you walked away before I could charge you on the other one. Like, oh, I thought it was on so and so. I'm like,
Thought wrong, motherfucker.
they didn't tell me anything, so
Yeah.
I need a card from you.
I
So
need
we
something.
tab
Something.
and they gave me the payment, but they were just like, oh, what the fuck? You didn't say anything. I'm like, well, you walked away. Like, what the fuck? Like, you were already gone. I gave you the drink and I went to go ring it. You were already gone. I'm like, so yeah, no. This is the price.
Yeah.
$32.50.
Yeah.
So I'm not giving you another drink. Nobody is here until you give me some kind of payment.
Just
And
remember.
then I take that shit with a smile. I'm like, thank you.
Just remember.
Bring it up and then give them the drink.
Yeah. The first person you talk to is usually the least informed when it comes to the bar. The first person you talk to, they're usually the least informed on who you are and whatever kind of situation you have going on with anybody else. They're the least informed because they're the last people to find out. Because there's so many moving parts to a bar or a restaurant or a club or whatever, even a brunch spot. No matter what it is, there's so many moving parts going on behind the scenes to make sure everything flows and goes the way that it's supposed to so that you can enjoy your experience. The person you see first, which is usually the person behind the bar, they're the last person to find out because everyone else has been able to talk about it. Your bartender's just been sitting there. And then your server probably has what, between 3 and 10 tables, depending on the place that they're working at. They don't have time to stop in and find out
10
who
tables
you
sounds
are.
like a lot.
It sounds like a lot depending on where you are.
Yeah.
Depending on where you
Actually,
are.
That is a lot. 10 tables is a lot.
Okay,
Our server friends are probably like 10 fucking tables.
10
Are you
fucking
kidding me?
tables.
I can barely
Yo.
manage 5.
Yeah, they just
Even
had that,
5 is a
they
lot.
just had that flashback with the fucking helicopter and the fucking guns going off. They're like, 10 tables. And they remember the last time they had 10 tables.
Oh, yeah.
You're not supposed to get 10 tables.
Nah, 10 tables
But
is
how
a lot.
often do you have 10 tables is the question.
Actually, I think like 5 per server is like a good. I think maybe even 5 might even be pushing it, depending on where
you're at.
depending on where you're working at.
Depending on
It
where
may
you're
be
at.
a lot. So
I mean, and depending on where you are, 10 might not be that bad.
yeah, because again, like 5. But if you're having to bring your own food out and go do this and that and make the coffee and do
Bunch
that,
your own tables.
that might be a lot. So yeah,
Yeah.
it all just depends on where you work at.
And especially if you're the DJ as well, you got to kick people out of the DJ booth.
You're the DJ, the server, the bus.
It sounds funny, but you never know. There might be a place out there where someone is the fucking floor manager and the DJ and the bartender. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised, man. Not at all.
Babysit, do hair, and sell drugs all in the same house. Police don't know when to kick the door in.
Yo, it's like, bro, you gotta pick a struggle. It's like I did. I signed up to be a fucking server, but they had me bussing, and I've been doing food prep.
That was the Next Friday reference. If you guys didn't know, go check it out.
All right, that's cool. All right, that's cool. That's cool.
Oh man, but if that is if you're able to do all that shit, shout out to you.
Shoot off on this one. I remember a bar.
That's another way of saying segue. You ain't slick.
Damn it.
You ain't slick.
I was just trying to shoot one off. But I remember when I lived in Seattle, there was a bar that I won't name. But I remember when one of my friends started working there. And they were a server when they worked with me. And that's how I knew them. And they got fired for whatever reason. I ain't gonna put their business out there. I know why they got fired, but they got fired. And within a week, we were all like, "Where are you at now?" They told us where they were working at, and I'll never forget when I asked them, "How do you like working there?" And they were like, "It's okay. I have to do a lot, but it's okay because I get to keep all the money." And I was like, "All right, so you're about to tell me about how you were severely overworked, but you're going to justify it by telling me how much money you walk with." which is such a service industry fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like a frame of
It's a
mind
coping
to have.
mechanism.
It is.
It's a coping
It
mechanism.
really fucking is.
Yeah.
Because this motherfucker was the bartender, the server, the food runner, and the cook. And the cook. And the fucking cook.
What?
I'm not lying. I'm not lying.
Oh man.
My Seattle people, you know who I'm talking about, and you know where I'm talking about. Over there in Bellevue. Anyway,
I would have quit that same day.
No, but this is how they justified it. They said, "Yeah, it sucks that I have to do so much, but I go in knowing that I have to do it. So I go in with the mindset of I got to do all of this, but I get to walk with all the money. I don't have to tip nobody out, whatever. And as long as I walk in knowing that that's how my shift's going to be, then I know how to work that shift and I know how to make it work for me."
Mm.
So they were like, okay, even though I may have a full bar, and their bar, like just for the size of context, is probably about the size of our apartment, bedrooms included.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not super large, but it is like a decent amount of space to
Sizable.
cover by yourself doing all of those functions.
Fuck that.
And they just said like the way they would do it is instead of trying to take multiple tables the way they would as a normal server is, they would just plot out where they would go and what order they go in. And depending on what someone would order, like food wise and drink wise, they would just go start like preparing to make that order or starting that order. Like depending on the food, hey, this takes 15 minutes or 10 minutes in the fryer. And that's another thing. Any place that's, well, not any place, but most places that's like just like a neighborhood bar or whatever. If your food's coming out fast, it means it's heavily fried. It's not good for you. You probably shouldn't be eating there all the time. Just have a couple drinks and leave. Because that's what they were telling me, that so much of their stuff was just thrown in the deep fryer.
Oof.
Let that go. Then you start making the cocktails. You drop the cocktails while the food is cooking, and then you take your next table. Because you know the cocktails weren't going to take that long because they were two-step cocktails.
Mm-hmm.
It was 2 touches. Jack and Coke, vodka cran, whatever. They didn't have a specialty menu. So that's what I meant by 2 touches. It's like 2 touch, Jack, Coke. Like it was just 2 touch kind of spot. And that's how they kept up with it. And when they told me the amount they made, I was like, yeah, but I make more than that and I don't have to do half of that. But they were saying like, yeah, but you have to deal with more than I have to deal with. Even though I have to do all of these things, it's my space. And everyone there knows it's just me. So they have more patience. They work with me on their orders. It's a neighborhood bar. So everyone there knows me. They fuck with me. They're not trying to like push me in like this particular direction because they're only caring about getting what they want when they want it. They're like, hey, we came here to hang out. You just happen to be the person who gets paid to serve us. And they were like, oh, this is a nice fucking like thing to have. And
Yeah,
like,
no,
your
that's
environment's everything. Sorry, I apologize
no,
for the long
that's
story.
that's
but
a coping
I
mechanism.
wanted to like bring it home, just saying like, no matter where you are, it is a perception that really changes.
It's a coping mechanism. That is bad.
It is.
There's no way
It
you can
is.
word that to make me think like, oh, you know what? Yeah, that's actually a good point. No, fuck that. If I'm getting paid to be the cook and the bartender, I better make a cook's wage and a bartender wage at the same time.
I understand.
So
And I agree. But I also know that that particular person was also spiraling down the fucking drain because of where we were working at the time when we worked together. They had a lot of bad habits. They had a really shitty schedule. They were drinking a lot. They were doing a lot of candy. I had all that stuff going on, and they were spiraling. So they'd rather work this job that sucked for a few hours, but didn't suck that much because of, hey, the environment was better. And it ended up being healthier for them. They lost weight. Like, they were in a good mood. They were cool. But they were being worked so much harder physically, but mentally. They're like, it's my bar whenever I clock in.
Hey, as long as you're happy, I guess.
That's all I was saying.
I could not be happy.
But yeah, that wouldn't work for me because I was like, yo, that sounds like torture.
Yeah.
It really does.
Fuck that.
It really does.
So I I got to check out a couple of bars not too long ago, and you can really tell when someone's new to bartending, or they're just bad as far as like cleanliness goes. Um, but I'm gonna shoot this particular bartender some bail and say that they're new to bartending or bartending. That they went from bar back to bartending. For one, they were really slow, and when I went to this bar, it was a very slow night. It was a weekday. There wasn't a lot of people there, so there's no reason.
Is it like a craft cocktail bar? Like
It's
dive bar?
it's got
Like what kind of aesthetic are they going for in that particular bar?
it's like kind of like that between craft and you touch almost where like it wasn't this extravagant fucking presentation, but the cocktails were definitely curated for that bar.
Yeah.
So somewhere
There was some thought.
Yeah, there was some thought. It wasn't just like, oh, let's put this in.
Those are my favorite places.
Yeah, really. By the way, really good cocktails that the bartender made. So I will preface that as well. But they moved really slow. It took me about 4 or 5 minutes before the bartender came to take my drink, and then another 3 or 4 minutes to get my cocktails. And at first I was like, damn, dude, this is really slow. And there's like 10 people in here, and they all have drinks. So like, there's no reason why you should be moving so slow. And then later on, I saw that they kept going backwards, looking at something, and I'm like, oh, they're learning. They're learning the cocktails. Okay, so you're either new to this place or new to bartending. I'm like, okay, so they're new to this place or both.
Yeah.
And then they did something, and I'm like, okay, you're definitely new to bartending because they did this thing. Actually, can you hand me the tins right there?
Oh yeah, sure.
I need to visualize this. They did this thing where so right, you boom, do your drinks, whatever, this and that, and when you're done shaking the cocktail, you got to strain the ice out, otherwise it's going to dilute the drink really fast. So instead of putting an actual strainer on top of there and pouring it, they did this where they put the small tin that's been sitting on the bar or your mats or whatever. So
but they've also been touching it.
Yeah.
Because your hands are on the side.
Yeah, so they got to do this and that and whatever, however you do it. Then they got to grab this. And this is full of cocktail.
Nah.
This is full of cocktail. So they take this and drop it in there.
Oh, no.
So it strains the ice.
Is full of cooties.
It pours only the liquid and strains the ice. And I was like, that's a rookie mistake. Because, like, yeah, it's like, okay, you shake it and it's easier to do whatever. No.
Yeah, that's a cootie cocktail.
I've seen bartenders, like, shake it, whatever, and then pour it. That's fine. There's no contamination here. That's just like a cool little thing. Put the strainer on, boom, throw it away, throw it into your dish sink. But when you do it like this,
most of the time when I'm making my cocktails, like when I'm done, I pop off. I'll go here, but like we got the strainers here. You know, then I'll strain it out, and then I'm done. But I'm like,
do that. That's
I think I did this once, like, man, a long time
exactly
ago,
right when you were new.
I saw another bartender do this and it looked cool.
Yeah,
I just remember thinking to myself, I was like, man, I touched all of that.
Yeah,
like
again,
it don't look good.
It's a novice. It's a very rookie mistake. You see that? The other thing too is that like you can also like boom, break it, and then just do one of those. Yeah. There's no contamination there. That's fine. Yeah.
That's actually how I.
Yeah, like that's also cool. That's I actually think that's more impressive than anything else.
Yeah. No, when I do mine, my break is, I pop, and then I just go here, and when I have a double strain, I'm not gonna make a mess. Nah, it looks like I'm gonna make a mess. I got one here. Here we go. So, like, when I'm gonna, like, strain out or whatever, and I don't feel like grabbing that strainer, I just make sure I crack it, and then I, like, strain out like that. And keep it, so I'm not, like, going all over the sides or whatever, but just straight out, close out, you're done. I go like this. It actually looks cool, too. Like, you made, like, an extra little bit of flair out of it. Yeah. Like, I'm not a flair tender by any means, obviously, but... like, just those little things where you still keep it sanitary. Like, your hands are touching all of it. Yeah. Like, you already have to touch the garnish. Yeah. That's enough. You should only be touching garnishes. But as far as liquid, there should be none of you in the liquid. Like, at all.
because no matter when you wash that, those tins touch the mat. You grabbed it,
Yeah.
this and that. It's like
You've
I
been
don't.
breathing your hot
It's
ass
just
breath all over
like,
it.
and then you don't know when the last time you washed your hands. So
Yeah.
to kind of
Oh,
wrap
I
it up,
know the last time I washed mine.
but the guest doesn't know. Is what
Oh,
I'm
okay,
saying.
cool. I was about to say, 'cause
Yeah,
I
the
washed
guest
mine.
doesn't know.
It's
But to kind of
mandatory.
bring
Do
it
every
home is
5
like
minutes.
I saw that and I'm just like, yeah, they're either new and they saw somebody do it or nobody's corrected them because they're all alone and they're learning. So I'm like, okay, cool, but somebody needs to correct them on that. But for me, seeing that anytime I see a bartender do that, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's disgusting.
I'd rather
I
have-
hope they're new. I hope it isn't a seasoned bartender doing that because if it is, you need to be corrected immediately because that is not okay. That is unsanitary. It's contaminated, and it's just disgusting. And
Yeah.
if a guest were to call you out on that, they'd be in the right to do so.
Yeah.
Because
No,
that's
they
not.
definitely would.
There's no way to word it like, oh, it just makes it. No, that's not okay. So if you're a new bartender, do not do that. That is.
If you're an old bartender, do not do that.
If you're a bartender, do not do that.
If you're not a bartender, do not do that.
Unless you're at home, do whatever the fuck you want.
Well, yeah. You want your fucking skin flakes all in your own cocktail, that's fine, but don't be serving that.
But yeah, I saw that and I was just like, oh no.
Man.
Yeah. It just,
That would be infuriating. I'll be honest, man. If I ordered a cocktail and someone prepared it like that, especially if it was a cocktail, not just like a shot. I wouldn't say I would forgive it if it was just a shot, but like, say you're at an after party or you're at a place where there are no bar tools, there's no nothing, and someone has to shake a shot because I've worked like private events, festivals, concerts, and shit like that where the bar tools are very limited. But then people want to ask you to make a cocktail or make a shot, especially a shot. Especially a shot. They want something with some flair to it or whatever, and you don't have tools and you don't want to have this and that. Like, you don't want to have all these ice chips and all this other shit going into the shot. So I've seen people do that at those festivals, but that's the worst place to do it because you're cleaning your utensils that much less in that environment.
yeah.
That is the worst place for you to do that little fucking trick. It doesn't look as cool as you think it does. It's not helping anybody, and it's fucking unsanitary. It's not necessary. Don't do that shit.
Yeah.
Don't do that shit.
Just don't do it.
Don't be that person. Don't be that
That
person.
that was one of the very, very, very few things that I seen called out on when I watched Bar Rescue. That was one of the things that he pointed it out, and I'm like,
Can't watch.
actually, that's but I watch it for comedy reasons.
Yeah.
It's funny because a lot of the shit I'm just like, and he's very adamant about like bartenders not taking drinks or shots behind the bar, and it's like, oh, dude, you don't live in the real world. But that was one of the things where I'm like, it's a good point. That's a very good point. That is very unsanitary. And then he gets all bent out of shape, like they're doing shots behind the bar. It's like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You don't live in the real world.
I'm sorry. I get so angry.
No, I
so
watched.
angry with people who like harp on that shit.
Yeah.
They can't control their bar and they don't hire the right people. But I also just get really annoyed with the fucking reality TV bullshit.
I mean, I work at a bar where the owner lets us drink and take shots because, again, said it before, he trusts us and nobody's fucked it up for anybody. We do our job right. So, yeah, he allows us to take a couple shots.
Yeah.
He'll take shots with us. So,
yeah,
it's cool.
And
but yeah,
you're
the reality
at a place that trusts you the right way. You don't want to break that trust.
No, you don't want to be the person.
Yeah, I don't want to be the person who makes it where we can't have shots anymore.
You don't want to be like, oh, Joe fucked it up for us.
Man,
you don't
fucking Jose. Jose fucks it up for everybody. What's his last name?
I don't know, but he fucked it up for everybody.
Man, you know the people who really fuck it up for everybody. And I'd like to end on this unless there's something else that we really gotta talk about. But God, man, the people who really fuck it up for everybody are the people who manipulate the situation, leech off of people, especially like regulars, like people you don't know too, but like.
Wait, are you talking?
Regulars are the worst.
Are you talking about that one person from that one night
No, but I
no.
might be as well. They might
Oh,
still fall within the
that's
category.
exactly what came into my mind.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it
Go
may
off.
be them too. Like they may
Go
fit,
off.
the shoe may fit this motherfucker too.
Oh, it definitely does.
But I don't like when someone comes up to a bar. I'm not even gonna get on the strangers thing because if I don't know you, you shouldn't be asking for shit anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's whatever. Like we're at an hour now. We got to wrap up anyway. But fucking regulars that regularly show up and act like they ain't got no money and act like they want to fucking get some free shit or want to stunt in front of their fucking friends like, oh, I know the bartender, I know this person, I know that person, whatever. Like, yo, eat shit and die slow, bro. I fucking hate that shit. If you're gonna come out to drink, you're gonna come out to have a good time. Bring money with you, bro. Bring money with you. And I'm gonna tell you two reasons why. For one, as we've already talked about, I have to make sure that those drinks are fucking accounted for, especially if my boss or bar manager is standing next to me and you're asking for free shit. And you're fucking embarrassing me now. Because what if I hooked you up last time and now you come up and you're like, yo, you got me? Yo, no, I ain't got you. Stop with that, yo, you got me shit. Please stop with that. Because the flip side of that is not only do I have to make sure that those drinks are accounted for, motherfucker, you're not tipping me.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't bring any money to pay for your drinks, you didn't bring any money to pay for me. Because if you're asking for a hookup can't go one way. No. You got to take care of me. You take care of me and the people working with me before you ask for yourself to be taken care of. You come, especially if you come in as a regular, because that means you know me. You know this is my job. Mm-hmm. You know this is how I pay my bills and do whatever else it is that I need to do. So for you to come in and be like, oh, I don't have any money or I don't have my wallet. Can you get me this time? One time might be okay, especially if it's like all I got is my phone and the place you're going to doesn't have Apple Pay. Cool. I'll shoot you bail on that. That's whatever. But to habitually show up with no money and ask for shit, or even worse, you only have enough money to pay for your drinks and maybe like a $2 tip or $5 tip. But I saved you $40, $50 by taking care of you, by making sure that your shit is rung in the right way to where the business is taken care of, but you're taken care of because you're one of our people. So therefore, I don't want to charge you an arm and a fucking leg every single thing because you come in there 20 times a fucking month. I'm not trying to nickel and dime you, like, and I'm not saying that we're all trying to nickel and dime anybody. It's money at that point. It's cost of business. But if you're in there 15 times, you're already supporting the business. That's where the hookup comes. You're already spending money here. So let me try to find a way to where it doesn't cost you as much money because you're making sure the business is taken care of and we're taken care of. But you walk in with no money and you want free shit and you don't tip, fuck you, dude. Yeah. I'm done with that shit, bro. Yeah. I'm done with that. Because now I'm already taking care of you and I don't get nothing to show for it.
No, that's unacceptable. Man. No remorse for those people. Bruh. No remorse.
Can't do it no more, man.
I feel you on that.
Cannot do it no more. Like, if you leave home, take your wallet. Yeah. Take your wallet. Take some cash.
And bring your ID too. Don't forget your ID. Because
if you're going to places that everyone knows you at, I can let that slide.
I was speaking more so because like sometimes occasionally I have to watch the front door at one of my places because security got to use the bathroom. Happens. And people will come up and be like, "Oh, can I show you a photo of my ID?" I'm like, "No, I have to see it. Yeah. Like we need to have the physical thing." And they're like, "So what? We just got to go back and go get it." I'm like, I don't know what. Leave it at home? I don't know whatever you got to do to get the physical ID in my hand. I don't care what you do. Don't make me the bad guy because you stepped out of the house with your ID. Right. I mean, that's dumb. You should have your ID on you. Like, it's not my fault you forgot your ID and I won't. My ID. Like, and I don't accept your photograph. Right? I don't know. That doesn't do anything for me. Yeah. You know? I need to have the physical card. I'm not the bad guy because you forgot. You're irresponsible. Like, yeah, go back and get it. Have somebody deliver it. You know, whatever.
Just be house trained.
Just Just don't make it seem like it's my fault.
Yeah,
that
be
you
be
forgot
house
something.
trained. Be house trained.
Yeah.
Meaning, don't leave anything in your house that you need when you leave your house.
Phone, keys, wallet,
And attitude.
and attitude.
And attitude.
Yeah.
And act right.
Yeah.
Like, yo,
That's it.
Bring your act right with you when you leave the house, yo. Like, I'm gonna start whooping motherfuckers.
They might like that.
Yeah, never mind. Never mind. Never mind.
Oh,
I'll hold
shit.
that back a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll hold that back.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, wow, this is probably not probably. This is the longest episode we've done at home,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool. Yeah, I'm really loving where we're going with everything. But I just want to remind everybody that we have a lot of things coming.
Mm-hmm.
Main thing is February 19th, 7
Live show.
p.m. at the Alamo Draft House.
Alamo Draft House.
Yes. So if you're in the LA area, you want to come check us out. It's a Sunday for those people.
Sunday.
Yes, and it is the week after Valentine's Day. So for those of you who find out that you're single on the 15th, come see us on the 19th.
Super Bowl?
No, Valentine's Day is the 12th. I mean, Valentine's Day is the 14th. Super Bowl is the 12th.
Okay.
So it's Super Bowl. So if your team loses a Super Bowl and then you lose your Super Boo 2 days later, then come see us on the 19th and we'll try to help you forget about that shit. For those of you who find out you're single, you know, we're going to do everything we can to lessen that pain. And then hopefully we'll be able to announce some of this shit that we keep fucking teasing. We got to talk when we turn the camera off because I wanted to actually run something by you on that.
Yeah.
But we have a lot coming. Man, I always like to leave with like a good note, like a good note when we're at home.
No,
but I
fuck
don't have
that. Be house trained. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Just make sure you pack your act right when you leave the house.
Mm-hmm. And wash your ass.
Please wash your ass. Wash
All
your
right.
fucking ass, yo.
Thanks, everybody.
See you next time.
Check you later.